G'day. So, today we are going to talk about pathology and what it is. And generally, the goal for you today is to become familiar and understand the context of the different terminology that we use when we're studying health and disease. Okay, so we'll start from the beginning. Pathology is the study of disease. Okay, you'll see all the things of ology on means study, and that comes from, these are all Greek words: study, ology, suffering, pathos. Okay, pathology, study of diseases. A pathologist is a scientist who study the disease. So those who study the diseases, that's called a pathologist. Now, let's look at some words down here. Pathogen. That's what causes a disease. So anything which causes a disease is a pathogen. The vector. Now, there are direct vectors and indirect vectors, but as far as we're concerned, a vector is any organism that takes a disease from one person to another. Okay? The host, that's you. This is the organism that gets ill. It's the organism which allows the pathogen to be inside it. Now, the disease is the reduced function that results from it. Okay, here's our example. This is a protozoan. It's not, to scale, because it's much bigger than this and that would kill you. It's scary. It's a scary big mosquito. But, so it's not to scale. This is malaria. Now, malaria is a protozoan, so it means it's unicellular, one cell, and it lives in blood. Now, what happens is, it gets taken up in the blood by the mosquito. So the mosquito, it's kind of cool, and it's just swimming along. It's a lady mosquito, because male mosquitoes don't eat blood meals. And it goes along, and it sticks its nose in its proboscis, and it sucks up the blood, and then it sucks up the infected blood. Now, when it goes to suck the blood up from me, the next person along, it transfers some of that blood in. Not on purpose, it's just, that's what happens. So it puts the blood back in from the other person back in me, and so I'm now a host. So here is our pathogen. It's cruising around in our vector here. Here's our host. That's unfortunate. And then the disease is malaria. Now, and the disease is malaria, and I die. And that's sad. I had a good beer. Anyway, so that's them in context. So it goes pathogen, vector, host, disease. Alright, now, when we study diseases, we might study the spread of diseases as well, and that's a particular scientist called an epidemiologist. And she'll have a few words up her sleeve as well. So basically we're looking at the levels of disease here, from bad to really bad to, oh my god, we're all going to die. Now, we start off at an endemic, okay, so that's just small numbers of people being affected on a regular basis, okay, so a small number of people regularly affected. Then we have an epidemic. Now, this is what happens when you have an increase of numbers but localized. So for example, because some people very poorly decided not to vaccinate their children in the north coast of New South Wales, we started to see an increase in numbers of measles, and this was an epidemic. There's now an epidemic of measles in the north coast of New South Wales, but it's localized. Now, we're not quite there, but when that disease gets out of control, but still localized, so still in that one area, we call it an outbreak. So an outbreak is the disease is now out of control, so the numbers are going up and up and up, but it's local. The time when you freak out, and this is where we thought we were getting with stuff like bird flu and swine flu, and we did get there with the Spanish flu in the early 20th century, where millions of people died, is a pandemic. And this is an outbreak, but on a global scale. Those are our words. Hopefully you can put those together with some context, and we'll talk to you later. Top work.